Hello, and welcome back to Random Vids. So for today's video, I decided that we are going to be doing a video that actually got requested to me by one of my fellow subscribers. His name, or I guess his channel, goes by Button Bambi Super Kitties. And I've known him for probably almost a year now at this point. And he gave me a video idea about a month ago to review one of his I guess series. Basically him and his one friend Star Stories. I'm just gonna call them Star and Lucas because I mean that's just gonna be faster. I hope that's fine with you guys. Star and Lucas, it's just faster that way. It's easier, but anywho, they made let's start like this. I got to know them through the TV show Super Kitties. They are big fans of the show. I'm a big fan of it too. Basically, what is Super Kitties, you may ask? It's a TV show about these 4 kittens who solve crimes. I mean, pretty simple. We see it in other TV shows, and I mean, it almost seems like one of those type of stereotypic shows, but after watching it, it is a really, really good show. And it's personally, in my opinion, one of my absolute favorite kid shows. Still not better than Bluey, You can't beat Bluey, but Super Kitties, I think, is a really good show. As a 20-year-old adult, it keeps me entertained, even. Like, I'm not bored of the scripts and stuff. No, it keeps me entertained. Like, I like what they're doing. They do a really good job. And boy, is it just a great cast of characters. So, Lucas and Star ended up creating a series based off of Lucas's idea called the Bitsy Betrayal. Basically, who's Bitsy? Bitsy is one of the 4 Super Kitties. She's the youngest out of them all, and probably the most sensitive, I guess, next to Sparks, of course. But she's the youngest and the most sensitive and the most emotional, of course. And there's many times in the show where she likes to, help out other characters, and even if it is like one of the villains. That's another thing I really like about the show. The villains aren't just your stereotypic bad guys. No, they actually have, like, reasons why they're bad. They're actually not one-dimensional. They're actually interesting and fun to watch. And there's times that they're in an episode and they're not even the main bad guy. Sometimes the bad guy targets them. So it's kind of interesting the way that the villains work in the show, but I really like it. I love the way that they did it. Anywho, so the request from Lucas was to review his Bitsy Betrayal. So him and his friend Star did a storyline on how they think this Bitsy Betrayal story would go. There was a total of 4 parts, and we will be reviewing all 4 parts. So I hope you guys enjoy this video and enjoy the reviews. Sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, grab a blanket, whatever you want. Grab a snack, grab a drink, whatever floats your boat, as we review all 4 parts of the Bitsy Betrayal done by Button Bambi Super Kitties and Star Stories, or just known as I'm going to call them Lucas and Star, which I hope they're cool with that. And before we begin, shout out to both of them. They are very nice people. They're very friendly. We've all had a blast together this past year, and it's always fun just being able to like chit chat and talk about Super Kitty stuff. Anywho, with all that said and done, let's get into reviewing of the Bitsy Betrayal Part 1. Alrighty, so Part 1. To make this easier, I'm going to kind of summarize the whole thing up so you can kind of get a, You can kind of get a glimpse of what it's like, but not necessarily share the whole story, every little detail. So, anywho, for the Bitsy Betrayal, it starts off with everyone at the Amara's, the Purr and Play thing, whatever it's called. The big main building that the Super Kitties live, basically. And they're all doing their normal things. Everything's all fine and dandy. And then the worst thing happened. Nothing. So they open the purr and play to everybody to come in and visit the kitties, as always. But the super kitties get a call that someone is stealing things. So we go through that little transition of all that, and they find out that the person stealing everything is the villain Cat Burglar, or Catty for short, whatever one floats your boat. So Cat Burglar, or Catty, is stealing things as normal when the super kitties go and stop him. And Cat Burglar starts talking about how, why he wanted to steal the things. And that's a common thing in the show, too. The villains won't just pout and walk away. No, they'll explain to the super kitties and us as viewers why they did what they did. Why did Cat Burglar steal all this stuff? Well, I mean, he doesn't have a family. He doesn't have a home. He's living in an apartment by himself, and occasionally with, I guess, his grandma and his cousin Sassy will come and visit and stuff. Anywho, what's also silly about this series is that Freddy and Pip from Tots are in this series too. So there's that. So they pop in and out of each of the parts. Not really for this one. This one almost starts off as kind of like a normal Super Kitties episode. Anywho, so they catch Cat Burglar. Bitsy overhears Cat Burglar talking about, why he stole the stuff. And Bitsy feels bad for Cat Burglar, knowing that, Cat Burglar isn't stealing it just to be a villain. He's stealing it for a reason. So she feels bad about it and talks to the other kitties about it. Talks to everyone. Talks to everyone about it, since there's more than just the kitties. She talks to everyone about it, and they're all kind of shocked that Bitsy would want to help out the villain, but at the same time, they understand why, if you know what I mean. And I believe that's basically most of the first part. It's a nice setup to the Bitsy betrayal. Obviously, we don't really see Bitsy betrayal until later on in the story, but this is a really great intro. And overall, I think it's done really well. It's almost just like a normal Super Kitties episode in a way. So, yeah, we got a nice setup, a nice build-up to the story. So now it's time to see where Part 2 leads us. So Part 2 starts where Part 1 left off. And Cat Burglar finds out that Bitsy is, I guess, not sneaking, but listening to what he's saying. So he asks Bitsy for help because he finds out that Bitsy feels bad that, he doesn't have much stuff due to him not really having a proper house, a proper family. So, well, he has a family, but you know what I mean. He's living in a building all by himself. So Bitsy feels bad, and Cat Burglar finds out that Bitsy overhears what he's saying. So both of them end up going off, so Bitsy can, I guess, help Catty out to just help him so he's not, I guess, so he can get what he wants in a way. So Bitsy agrees, and they both go off. And meanwhile, everyone else is confused on where Bitsy went. They're like, where's Bitsy? Like, where did she go? She just got up and left. After a while, she comes back, and then they get a call from someone. And they said that Cat Burglar was out stealing stuff again, this time with a sidekick. That, of course, being Bitsy, which some people started taking recognition that it might have been Bitsy, when Bitsy started acting really nervous around everyone and maybe a little more quiet. But anywho, they end up going to find what's going on. And what's also interesting about this story is Bambi from the movie Bambi is in this story too. He doesn't really have too much of a major role. It's mainly just him hanging out with all the side characters, and even joins the main cast during the story, I guess. So, okay, interesting. So they end up going to the park where I guess everyone's at, and that's when they say stuff. That's when they tell them like what got stolen, and they notice Bitsy and realize that Bitsy was the one who was helping Cat Burglar. What's also funny is that I guess they stole Mr. Puppy Paw's stroller, which I don't know what's so funny about that, but something about that is just kind of funny. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's usually in his stroller, and then I'm just picturing in my head, all right, when did Mr. Puppy Paws ever get out, and all of a sudden his stroller just magically disappeared? I don't know. Something about that is funny. Like, I know Cat Burglar took his dog, like, in one of the most recent episodes, Cat Burglar took Mr. Puppy Paw's golden bone, and I don't know, that's probably because I just recently saw that episode, so that's what comes to mind when I think of it. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of silly. And Mr. Puppy Paws drew a picture of who stole the items, and the one looked exactly like Bitsy. And everyone's like, oh yeah, like we can tell she had um, white fur and green eyes, and that's when everyone figured it might be Bitsy. Also didn't help that like Mr. Puppy Paws, Sam, and Eddie were all yelling at her for doing that too. So she starts freaking out and gets upset and ends up blurting out that she's the one who she was Cat Burglar's sidekick. So she gets really upset about that, and everyone is all confused and just like, why would Bitsy do such a thing? Because, you know, she's one of the nicest super kitties. Why would she ever, like, want to do that? And they all felt really bad for Bitsy, of course. And she ended up going back to the cave where, like, their headquarters is, basically. And it didn't help that Mr. Puppy Paws, Sam, and Eddie were bashing on her, so she wasn't really a fan of that. So she ended up leaving a note to the other super kitties saying that she's going to be leaving because she feels like she did something really wrong and she feels very ashamed. So everyone is now confused on where Bitsy went again. So they go back to the headquarters, and that's when Bambi finds the note and shows everybody that Bitsy is leaving because she's really ashamed and thinks that because she helped Cat Burglar out, that means she cannot be a super kitty anymore. Because, you know, super kitties can't do mean stuff. They have to be perfect. But anywho, then they're all really upset, especially Ginny, because, you know, Ginny is Bitsy's best friend, basically. I mean, they're all really upset, but Ginny is really upset, and she needs time to herself. And that's when everyone starts, like, what's the word? They feel really bad for Bitsy, obviously. And even Cat Burglar feels bad for Bitsy too, but I think I'm getting ahead of myself here. Because I think some of that is in the next... I think a lot of that is in part 3. So yeah, part 2 is mainly building the plot. So it's a big rising action moment of the whole story. But I think it's done really well. Like the way Lucas and Star did it, like you guys did a really really great job. Like I was reading these and I'm like, wow, like I can really see this as a Super Kitties episode. Like it's done so well and I really like it. Like it once again keeps me on the edge of my seat. It's also fun seeing crossover characters in there too. So far I'm really liking it. You guys are doing a great job. So why don't we move on to part 3 and see how that's going. So part 3 begins and we're back at the Super Kitties headquarters. Everyone is now figuring out what to do next. Obviously everyone is like, alright, it's time to save Bitsy. So they're all trying to figure out how they're going to do that. They figure they're going to need help from a few of the dogs that are in the show. Basically, dogs like Magda, Rockland, and even another crossover character named Lassie. So, meanwhile, while they're coming up with a plan to get Bitsy back, Bitsy has ran away, and I think she's in some sort of, like, southern area, because I think I read it that she's in Hay or something like that. So Cat Burglar ends up catching up to Bitsy, and he ends up comforting her and says how he feels sorry that he made her steal things, because now he's hurt to see Bitsy hurt, because now Bitsy feels like she doesn't belong to be a super kitty because she did all that, and all she wanted to do is to teach Cat Burglar, his wrongs. So while Cat Burglar is comforting Bitsy, his cousin Sassy comes into the scene, and they end up updating her about the situation. So all three of them end up just basically cuddling together. Then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they hear footsteps, and Catty immediately knows what that is and tells them all to go hide. I guess Bitsy probably wasn't hiding in the bestest spot, although she's the smallest, so she could probably fit in a good spot, but she probably isn't really knowing what's going on. So a mysterious cat catcher ends up capturing Bitsy and takes her to the pound, because when she left, I guess she ended up taking off her collar and her basically collar. So now the pound is after her because she doesn't have a collar on anymore. So she is now captured by a mysterious cat catcher. Tongue twister here. And meanwhile, Pip and Freddy, who are delivering a baby, sees this happening. So they hurry up and go tell the Super Kitties what happened. Not the Super Kitties. I keep forgetting there's more than just the Super Kitties. They go and tell everyone what happened. So now they're trying to figure out a plan to get Bitsy back from the cat capture. Cat Burglar and Sassy end up coming to help as well. So now the party's growing even bigger, which is kind of funny. So the party started off kind of small, but now it's just growing bigger and bigger as it goes on. But hey, the more the merrier. So now basically they're trying to figure out a way to get Bitsy back. And that's basically the end of part 3. And man, it's another just really great, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's another great part to this story, where now Bitsy is captured and they all have to go save her. So now Cat Burglar and Sassy are teaming up with everybody to save Bitsy. And it's kind of funny how Cat Burglar started off stealing things, and now he's helping out the Super Kitties, as he says, to save Bitsy. Because, I mean, who would leave Bitsy like that? Let's be real here. So that's basically where part 3 ends. And once again, like I said, it's another really great part where we get to the top of the plot mountain and we finally start to see some of the falling action, which of course we'll see more of that in part 4, but I'm liking it. Let's move on to part 4, the finale. So for part 4, everyone ends up going to trick the cat catcher, and my only thing is, I guess they got to I guess I wasn't really thinking much when I was watching this the first time, but I was thinking this the whole time they were in the truck, which I don't know why I thought that, but I guess at that point when they caught up, she was in the pound. And what everyone had to do was to trick the cat capture, while Catty and Sassy grabbed the keys to go and unlock the jail cell, so that Bitsy could come out. So everyone is so happy that Bitsy is safe and she's fine. So everyone gives each other hugs, and they're all happy she's okay, and basically leave the pound with Bitsy unharmed, and they end up going back to Kittydale. So in the meantime, like I said, they all hug Bitsy and stuff. So glad she's okay. And then Cat Burglar is like, just make sure you forgive Bitsy or something like that. Like he really wants them to forgive Bitsy for everything that I guess she did. Although, because he said, yeah, she did it, but she was only doing it to, or I guess she was just trying to help Cat Burglar with his own way, learn from his mistakes, I guess. Because all Cat Burglar was trying to do was to help his nephew Marcel, who was basically just a little mouse that he calls Cat Burglar his uncle, which is adorable as heck. And which that's true, because in one of the Super Kitties episodes, in the Christmas one, Cat Burglar is stealing everyone's toys and stuff to give them to his nephew Marcel. Well, not really his nephew, but he treats him like a nephew. So Marcel looks up to Cat Burglar and calls him uncle, which is adorable. And all Bitsy wants is for Cat Burglar to be nicer, so he can be a nicer uncle to Marcel, or appear as a nicer uncle, not a uncle who steals things, I guess, if you know what I mean. So they end up going back to Kittydale, and everyone is so glad Bitsy's okay, and they give her the collar back, so she isn't going to be taken by animal control again. And even like Sam and Eddie apologize for being a Sam and Eddie. I don't really know what they're, for being rude, I guess, for calling her a bad kitty, a bad girl, I guess it was. And everyone's all happy and stuff. And I'm trying to remember how it ends. Obviously, we all know what happens. Bitsy pulls out her little tablet and tells us all what the moral was, winks at the camera, and then the episode basically ends. I guess the only other thing to mention is how Cat Burglar was just really surprised how they are like, yeah, we forgive Bitsy. And he's like, wait, what? Oh, great! Like, I'm glad you guys are forgiving Bitsy. Obviously, the Super Kitties are way too nice to not do that, especially to Bitsy, because they all love her, and they're all very sweet, so of course they're going to forget Bitsy. And that's basically then the end of the fourth part, as well as the whole Bitsy betrayal. Personally, I thought it was really good. Like, you guys did a really great job with this. Lucas and Star, you guys did a really great job. Like, it's an interesting story. It's fun to watch. Am I going to remember it? I might. I'm not going to. As time goes on, I'll probably forget it more and more. But I've only seen this like a few times, so I'll just have to rewatch it again, basically. But I think it's a really great story that you guys came up with, and you guys did a really good job. Obviously, no one's perfect. Everyone's going to make mistakes, so I don't know where I was going with this, but don't expect to be perfect is what I'm trying to say. But you guys did a really good job with this story, and continue to make really great stories that you guys enjoy and that everyone else can enjoy, because you guys, like I said, you guys did a really great job. I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know. It's really great. I really like the story, and I love how all the characters are still in character. Like, there isn't any certain time where a character is just out of character. Like, everyone's in character, which I really like. Because if the Super Kitties were out of character, then I'd just be like, what am I watching? Like, why are they just randomly out of character and not, their normal selves? But it was nice to see that they were all basically in character. So yeah, with that was all 4 parts of the Bitsy Betrayal, done by Button, Bambi, Super Kitties, and Star Stories 23. Or just Lucas and Star. You guys did, like I said, you guys did a really great job. And I hope you guys continue making great stories. And I really enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed this video as well, because I know Lucas has been wanting me to make this video for a while, and I'm like, don't worry, I'll get it done, but The past 2 months have been crazy busy for me, so it was a little hard to do it. But now, since I'm doing YouTube again, after I'm done with my, little break there, I can do videos like this again. So, shout out to Button, Bambi, Super Kitties. Shout out to Star Stories. You guys did a great job, and it was fun reviewing the Bitsy Betrayal. If anybody has any other video suggestions for me, let me know, because I don't really get too many video suggestions. So when I usually do them because it's where I get them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good day.